Hi, it's Stephanie, and since I'm working on this wedding design for the Casanova family using Wecora, I thought I would show you just how I'm doing that today. I've already started just tossing together several pictures of inspiration for this client, but I want to show you just how fast I can get all of my ideas onto this board, get these ideas in front of my client, start getting their feedback, and just wrap this project up to be able to take on a lot more projects moving forward. The first thing I wanted to do was to go ahead and upload my contract to this board, as well as another picture, just so I'll have these handy when I need to reference them or my clients or vendors need to as well. The next thing that came to mind for the Casanovas were some clear copy tables that I had used at a previous event for the Brantley family. Since Wecora is automatically organizing an inventory of all the ideas that I put onto Wecora boards, it's very easy for me to grab these images from previous projects and to toss them on new boards. So here I'm going to go to the Brantley project. Wecora automatically stored a copy of all the pictures that I used. Done quite a bit of work for this family. But here are the clear copy tables that I wanted to go ahead and show the Casanovas. You'll notice the great thing about pulling in images from this library is I'm not just getting a picture to show my client. In the item details, a lot of the information was brought over from the Brantleys, but I can still revise this information. I'm going to go ahead and update the quantities. I know that we're going to need 15 of these for this particular wedding. All the information you're seeing right here is what my client will see. It's what's displayed on the board card. That's why it is under this visible tab. You'll also notice that some information that I decided to store privately came over as well. I've got the source information, so I don't have to try to remember where I originally purchased these from or rented them from. I also have the unit cost, which is my cost on this item, so I know what my rental cost is without having to stop and call the vendor again directly. The great thing with Wecora is I get to control the narrative over which of this information is kept hidden from my clients, or I can opt to share that information as well. Now you'll see I just turned on the source for this particular item. So now when my client views it, they actually have the ability to click on the link and to be taken directly to this rental company's website. Now I know I need to spec some chairs for this particular event, so I'm going to take advantage of the built-in web search or Google search inside of Wecora. Since my client doesn't have a clue what a Chiavari chair is, I'm going to grab a couple of quick pictures to show them. I simply select the picture I want, drag and drop it to the board. So that web search was very helpful since I was working inside of Wecora. But now I actually need to head over to a rental company that I use quite often. I wanted my client to see this particular picture that I'm thinking is a great point of reference for them to see the globe lights I'm interested in. I've installed my Wecora bookmarklet, which is like the Wecora pin it button. So I just hover over this image. I'm going to click that Wecora logo. An item detail window is immediately going to pop up where I can store some pricing information should I choose. But the only thing I'm required to do is to send it to whichever project that I want that image to be stored in. Now when I go back to my Wecora board, I can simply go to my bookmarklet clips. Here's all of my clipped images. When I'm ready to add it to this board, I'm just going to drag and drop it right here for the Casanovas to see. At our last meeting, my bride was really expressing interest in some unique ways to tie chair stashes. So I pinned a few options for her to look at on Pinterest. Since Wecora is fully integrated with Pinterest, I'm just going to select my Pinterest board that I created for her. And then I can just drag and drop the ideas that I explored for her onto this Wecora board. But the great thing is here, I'm sending my client to Wecora, which is wonderful for keeping my clients focused and for us to collaborate in a really organized way, as opposed to sending her somewhere where she's just going to get overwhelmed with all the options that she can explore on her own. I have a lot of ideas going on now for this board, so let's take a second to organize the board a little bit more. The first thing I want to go ahead and do is add a new group or a couple of groups to this board. Groups really allow me to cluster my images in a way that makes sense to me and to my client so that we're all on the same page and to make sure I've tackled all of their objectives. So this first group I'm going to add, we're just going to call accents. Let's add another group called lighting, and then one last group here we're going to call seating assignments. Now let's start moving these items on my board to the correct group in which they belong. If I have pictures like this on my board, my client doesn't have to wonder, what is it that she loves about this? Is it the floral arrangements? Is it the table settings? What is it? Clearly, since it's moved inside of the lighting group, my client will immediately know that that's what I want them to notice about this picture. Another place that grouping is really impactful on Wecora is with the budgeting side of things. You'll notice in my list view that Wecora offers that each group on my board is subtotaled. I also have a running total for the board itself right here. But you see, when my client asks me things like, how much are we currently spending on lighting? It's very easy for me to give them a quick answer. I also love that if I'm at a client meeting and my client says something to me like, what if we upped our chair rentals to $150 instead of just starting with 100 guests? How does that change our overall price? You can see how I can immediately provide them with that information. I don't have to constantly stop, go back to my office and try to rework those numbers. I can keep that momentum rolling for them. When I'm ready, I can go ahead and share this board with my client, get it in front of them early on in the process just to make sure we're all on the same page, that I'm fully understanding their vision, but that way we can start to collaborate on all these items and can get an idea of what they're liking, what they're not liking. So I'm going to go ahead and invite my client to join this board. I'm excited to get her feedback. As soon as my client joins the board, she can immediately let me know things like the fact that they've decided to go with silver chairs instead. So we've now started this process of elimination. The great thing about this experience in Wecora is that it's flexible. So if the groom wants to see the gold again, it's really no problem at all. I'll simply restore the item. And the beautiful thing is that nothing was lost. The item details are still here, as well as all the previous comments that we've exchanged back and forth. My client's experience is very straightforward. They can only comment or vote on board items, and as they do, I'll continue to remove what's not working in order to keep everyone focused on what can. So there's a lot more to Wecora, but as you can see, if I need to organize, share, discuss, and then ultimately decide on ideas in a really intuitive and efficient way that's actually kind of fun, then Wecora is definitely going to be the tool for the job.